Hey everybody. I know it's been a minute, but I made a video on what I'm going to talk about on this live, but I also wanted to go live. So I'm just going to wait a couple minutes and see who comes on. If anybody is on, I know it's like I didn't make an announcement, it's impromptu or what have you. So I'm not sure who may even see that I'm live. Hey, hey, Volvo to Love. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. I'm gonna give a couple minutes and see who else tunes in. Thanks so much. I am trying to, I'm not gonna say I'm trying, I'm going to be more consistent with posting and going live. I made some videos, but I can't create I can't add a thumbnail to upload them to YouTube yet because my computer memory is full and my phone is full as well. So I either have to purchase more memory or I have to delete some things on my phone and my laptop. And I haven't found anything on here that I can delete. I probably need to buy a pen drive and add the things to the pen drive and then start to delete some things. But that is why I have not posted any videos. I have made some videos, but because I don't have the ability to put a thumbnail on YouTube yet, because I can't, when I create it in Canva, I don't have the ability to download it and save it. So that's why I can't create a thumbnail for YouTube yet. So that's just um, a little bit about why I haven't posted a video. But I do have a video coming up. I'm sorry, someone was texting me. I do have a video coming up. I'm going to be showing the price of some homes in Rugby. Hey, hey, thanks for joining the live. I'm going to be showing the price of some homes in Rugby. They're going to be under $200,000 homes. Good looking homes. Are they brand new? Absolutely not, but they are livable. They are not a shack. They are very livable. And even if you get a FHA loan, which is where you put down 3.5%, the mortgage is still an affordable payment. And with what you will, so that is one of the videos that I will be posting in the very near future. I don't know. Did you guys see my post about Heartland of America in Rugby? They're hiring. They are hiring. They are Rugby is an hour, not an hour and a half. Excuse me, that's Bismarck. Rugby is 45 minutes to an hour away from Minot, depending on how fast you drive. It is a straight through. If you get lost going to Rugby, you do not need to leave home without supervision. You do not need to live home without supervision. That's how easy the drive is going to Rugby because once you get on, I believe that's 52 East. It's just a straight road. You cannot get lost unless you got something going on and you need to. You should not leave home without supervision. By the way, for those of you that may be new here, I'm Shantae Charles, and I teach people who look like me how to make money independently of their job by teaching them how to monetize their genius. Now, let me say this video, this live, if you usually are on this live or if you've seen my previous videos, I am for everybody. But particularly, I am for people that look like me. A lot of times, people that look like me, we are afraid to move from a place that we see a lot of us for various reasons, some legitimate, some not so legitimate. So I'm here to help people realize that there are still some places in America where you can move and you don't see a lot of people that look like you, and you'll be perfectly fine. In fact, you will thrive. So that's why I have started the Move to North Dakota Summit. That's why I post a lot of stuff about living here in North Dakota, the cost of living, the job opportunities, and so on and so forth. But I was having a conversation. Actually, I had two conversations with two different people on yesterday about sorry, my internet is acting a little funky for some reason. We were talking about I started talking about why people refuse to leave a place that no longer serves them. You know, I didn't check if you guys can hear me. Type a one in the comment box to let me know if you can hear me, please, before I get into what it is I'm going to talk about. Type a one if you can hear me. I would appreciate that. Type a one in the comment box if you can hear me. So I was saying, I'm in this group on Facebook, and the group is for women, and they talk about finances. It has a lot of good information in the group, but a lot of times, a lot of women will. How are you guys getting by with just one income? Or my husband got laid off and my income isn't enough, and what should I do? And people will say, go apply for housing, go apply for this, that. Oh, thank you, Helmet. Can you hear me? Type a one and let me know if you can hear me, please. The first thing people will say is they'll talk about getting on assistance. Now, let me tell you, I'm not against getting on assistance if you need help. Because if you live here in America, oh, thank you for letting me know you can hear me. If you live here in America, one of the good things about America is that if you need help, we have programs that will help you. I have been a recipient of food stamps, Medicaid, and child care assistance. I am not ashamed to say that. A lot of people would be ashamed to say that. I am not ashamed to say that because I am not there anymore. And when I was not going to make that my end all be all, that this is how I'm going to live for the rest of my life. But if you need the program, go and apply. But I never hear anyone say, look for another job that pays more money. I never read anyone or anyone writes, look for a job that pays more money. You need to supplement your income. In addition to working your job, you need to figure out what it is that you can do to make additional money. I never hear anyone saying, go back and get a certification so you can get a better job. It's always 9 times out of 10, go apply for assistance. Go apply for assistance. And like I said, I'm not saying don't go apply for assistance, but that should not be the last place we stop at. Years ago, I was making $12 an hour, and I wasn't worried about getting a certification. I was content because my husband made a lot of money. I mean, we live here in North Dakota. North Dakota is oil country. And at the time, we were the second biggest producer of oil here in the United States outside of Texas. And we were in a boom. My husband went to work and he did not know where he was getting off, literally. And at first I was like, how do you not know what time you're getting off from work? That's a lie. But when I saw those paychecks, it's like, oh, you really have been at work. And my husband, he still works a lot. He works for an oil company. And if you work for an oil company, or your husband works for an oil company, or you move here and your husband or your boyfriend, significant other is going to work for an oil company, get used to they're going to work more than 80 hours um, a week. They're going to work a lot of hours. That's just how it is. But anyway, my husband was making a lot of money. And then one day he got laid off from his job. And this is before we got out of debt. We didn't have any savings. We didn't, because we were just living a good life. We make a lot of money, spend a lot of money. And then one day the oil boom went bust. And he found another job. Then he got laid off again. Found another job, got laid off again. Found another job, got laid off again. By this time I was had enough because I needed some stability. And I took my skill as a CNA and I turned it into a business. I started my own non-medical in-home care agency. And many of you who watch have probably heard this story before, but I started a non-medical in-home care agency. But I wasn't determined that, oh, I'm going to stay on the system forever. But a lot of people, we get caught up on staying on the system. And one of the things I was telling my friend, and I said to her, sorry, I'm not sure, my internet's cutting in and out. I said, we get so stuck on staying in a place that no longer serves us. Some of us will live someplace that is very expensive to live. We cannot afford uh we cannot afford to live there. We're scraping by. We're not even surviving. But everybody we know is familiar and they live there. So we will continue to stay in a place that does not serve us. We refuse to move. Now, California, New York, Florida, it's very expensive to live there. Everyone who lives in those places are not struggling. Some people are struggling. Some people are doing very well there. My friend, she's a single woman. She lives in Fort Lauderdale. She is doing quite well. Who have lived there their whole life and they're struggling to get by, but they refuse to leave because it's all they know. The place no longer serves them, but they refuse to leave. They refuse to leave. I was saying, and during one of the conversations with one of my friends, at one point during the conversation, she was like, she was telling me that where she lives, she's tired and she thinks she needs to move and what have you. And I said to her, do you think or do you know? Or are we going to be having the same conversation 6 months to a year from now? Do you think or do you know? And then she said something to the effect of, well, when I said to her, sometimes we have to move and just go. And she said something about we started talking about God, and oh, my brother's deciding to call me at the wrong time. Sorry, I'll have to talk to him later. She said to me, and sometimes when you run into obstacles, that's God's answer of telling you not to go. And I said to her, that is so not true. Just because you run into obstacles does not for you meant for you to move or to do whatever it is that you prayed about. I said to her, and I'll tell you why I say that. Because before I moved here, I lived in Georgia. I lived there for 3 years. I lived there for 3 years. I heard about North Dakota. Decided I was going to move here. I heard about it on a news report. Um, it was Brian Williams, and this is during the recession. During the recession, um, and he says, if you want to know where the jobs are at, I'm going to tell you where the jobs are at after the commercial break. He comes back from the commercial, and the camera pans Williston, North Dakota. There are hundreds, probably, it looked like thousands of people in the Walmart parking lot, cars everywhere. And the guy that was on the ground was interviewing people, and he was saying, I'm making a video. Please go back upstairs and wait.
Mommy, I'm hungry.
Okay, you ate already. You're going to have to wait until I'm done, okay?
Okay. Can someone make me a peanut butter jelly sandwich?
You can get some peanut butter crackers.
Okay.
Ask Isaiah to get them for you. Close the door a little bit back a little bit, please.
But Dad, we have one possibility.
Did you hear what I said? Thank you.
Okay. But see, we have one
Sorry about that, guys. So they panned the parking lot, and the gentleman that was on the ground doing the reporting, he says, these people have moved here and they're living in their car in the parking lot of Walmart because there's not enough apartments here. Now, at the time, it was an oil boom. Williston is a very small place. There was not a lot of apartments. So people came here, were living in their car. Then he interviewed this black guy. I'll never forget this black guy. I don't know his name, but I'll never forget his story. He interviews this black guy, and the guy says, I spent the last bit of money I had, and I came here on the train. I got here yesterday. I interviewed for a job today, and I start tomorrow. When he said that, I said, "Oh, baby, let me see what's going on in this place called North Dakota. Let me see what's going on." So I started doing some research, and I found this company that was recruiting for the healthcare system here. At first, I thought it was a scam because they need all of my information. And listen, this is how ridiculous I was, y'all. I was like, "Oh, these people are scamming. They just want your social security number." Now, why was I worried about anybody getting my social security number when my credit was so bad? I probably couldn't even get a piece of 5-cent gum on credit because my credit was shot to shingles. It was terrible because for 3 years, I didn't have a job. I had a piece of a job, but it was like not having a job because sometimes when I got my paycheck, I didn't even make $100. So that was like not having a job. But for 3 years, I did not have a job. I could not pay my mortgage on a home I owned in Florida, not because I did not want to pay, but because I could not pay. The only reason I didn't lose my home to foreclosure is because at the time, Florida was so backed up in foreclosure court. Every time they sent me a notice of when to show up for court, they'll send me a notice right up before the day and say, "Oh, we pushed it back. We pushed it back." And then eventually I was able to sell my home. Anyway, that's another story for another day. But I started doing some research, found out about here, found a company that will recruit me here. After I got over the fact that, hey, they may steal my identity. If somebody stole it, they're going to be mad and they want to get their money back because they can't do anything with this social security social security number. I applied for the job, sent my information. I got hired. They said once you get your CNA certification, you're hired. All you have to do, the company is going to pay for you to move. They'll pay for the U-Haul truck. You don't have to pay anything for the U-Haul truck. They have a contract with U-Haul. All you have to do is put gas in the car. You got to pay for your hotels along the way and your food along the way. Once you get there, bring your receipts. They'll reimburse you for the gas, the hotel, and your food along the way, and any tolls or anything that you acquire for the move there. You have to have a lease. You have to have at least a year's lease of where you're going to stay in order to officially be hired and get the $2,000 signing bonus. Now, here's the kicker. For 3 months straight, I called every apartment complex here in Minot, North Dakota, every day, Monday through Friday, because apartment complexes weren't open on the weekend. I think they're still not open on the weekend. Anyway, I called every day, Monday through Friday. No one had an apartment. Can I get on the wait list? We don't have wait lists. I'm like, what day and age are y'all living in and y'all don't have wait lists? Man, we don't have wait lists. Every day. I had a report for work February 7th, 2012. I believe that was a Monday. Monday? I can't remember what day it was. I know I started there February 7th. And the job that gave me the job, they would put me in a hotel for 7 days. So I'm like, okay, at least I'll be in a hotel for 7 days. My recruiter kept calling me and saying, did you find an apartment yet? No, I didn't. Do you want to push back your start date? No, on such and such day, I am leaving Georgia and I'm going to North Dakota. A week later, she called back, did you find an apartment yet? No. No. Do you want to push your date back? No. I'm leaving Georgia and I'm going to North Dakota on such and such day. That was an obstacle because I didn't have a place to stay. I'm still calling every day, every apartment complex. I was supposed to leave out on a Saturday to drive here to North Dakota. That Friday before, I still did not have a place to stay. My recruiter called me that Friday afternoon and says, Shantae, I have good news. There was another girl that was offered the job and she had an apartment waiting. But she called me at the last minute, said she's not going to take the job or the apartment. Call Matt Watney. Now, mind you, I remember these people's name because my life was transformed so much. But I haven't dealt with Matt Watney and I think I lived in that apartment a year or so. But it's been over 11 years. It was a long, long time ago. She says, call Matt Watney. Tell him I gave you his number. I told you to call and that you want the apartment. I called him. He says, I got to run your credit. I need your social security number. My heart sank because I know my credit was bad. I was like, oh God, here we go. He says, I'll call you back in 5 minutes. He calls me back. I'm sorry, I can't rent you the apartment because your credit is bad. I was like, oh my God. I hung up the phone. I was crying because, okay, for 3 years, I prayed for a job. I said to the Lord, I'll move anywhere within reason. I want a sign-on bonus. I want to be able to pay my rent without needing assistance. I want to be self-sufficient. I want the job to offer me benefits and so forth and so on. Here I am, and I want them to pay for me to relocate. If I got to move, I want them to pay for me to relocate. Here I am, got the job that's giving me everything I want, but I cannot get the apartment because my credit is bad. Now, at this time, apartments here were very expensive. Now, this is before the pandemic. This is before inflation and all the nonsense we got going on now that's causing prices to be ridiculous. But we were in an oil boom where people were leaving the police force to go work for oil companies because they were making 3 times the amount of money. So people were demanding a lot of rent. A 1-bedroom was like the price of rent in New York. It was ridiculous. This apartment, I believe, was like $650. I want to say $625, but I think it was $650. So it was affordable. It was affordable, which was a rarity. 2-bedroom, 1 bath, $650. FYI, you can still get an apartment like that for that price here now. But back then, That was highly unlikely. So I'm like, oh, I can be self-sufficient, but I cannot get the apartment because my credit is bad. I called my mother. Thank God for a mother of wisdom, a mom that has wisdom. I was boohoo crying. I told my mom what happened. My mom said, call that man back, and this is what I want you to tell him. Tell him that everybody in America has bad credit right about now because we're in a recession. Nobody has a job, so they can't pay their bills, which is why all those people have moved to North Dakota. Tell him you have a job, you have a contract, and so forth and so on. I called him back and told him exactly what my mom said. He said, be here by Monday before 5 o'clock to sign the paperwork, and the apartment is yours. And I'm still here in North Dakota, no longer in that apartment. But I had obstacles. Obstacles came up. And if I would have said, I'm not going to move, it, okay, this is God's way of telling me not to move because I'm running into obstacles, I would probably still be in Georgia. I would not be married. I would not be married. I definitely wouldn't have any children because I would not birth children in poverty. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Helmet says, wow, that's wisdom. Yes, it is. Peace says, hello from New York. Hi, hi, hi. I don't think I've ever seen you here before. Peace. Thank you for tuning in. But I would not have had any children and birthed them in poverty. Now, if you have followed me before and seen some of my other videos about how I went from a CNA and started my own non-medical in-home care business, you know that my husband and I had ran into some financial problems, which prompted me to start my business. But there is no way that I would have started off having children knowing, oh, well, thank you for coming back. Thank you for coming back. There's no way I would have started off having children knowing that I couldn't take care of myself. To me, that's just irresponsible and reckless. Just for me, for me. Not to put down to anybody else, but for me. So, but I ran into obstacles. If I would have said, it's not meant for me to move because I have. Thank you. Peace says you are a smart woman. Thank you. Thank you. Um, if when my husband lost his job, when I got sick and tired of him losing his job, if I would have said, you know, I'm going to move back to Georgia with my mom and my dad, I'm going to go back to Georgia. Well, my parents were no longer in Georgia. They have since moved here. But if they had not moved here and I would have said, oh, I'm going to move back to Georgia, I'm going to move back to Georgia, I wouldn't be living the life I live now. There's no way I would have been able to hire 15 employees, hire 15 people. My life would be totally different if I would have said, you know what, this is happening. It must be meant for me to go back. Because people have come here and they have gone back without accomplishing anything. And I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying that's just the case. But if I would have just tucked tail and ran back to where I came from, like, why? And then I was saying to her, I was saying to my friend, I said, you know, because she and I both are believers in Christ. I'll make that clear. Um, and I was saying to her, you know, the children of Israel, they ran into problems with getting into obstacles with the promised land. They went over there, the spies went, they saw there were giants in the land. The people were like, oh, we can't do it because the people are bigger than us and blah, blah, blah. Caleb was like, I think we could do it. And everybody else, oh no. What happened? A whole generation of people died off before they could possess what God already gave them. Which if they would have moved past the obstacle and stopped the foolishness of the other things they were doing, they could have got what God had for them way before they did. But they saw obstacles and they gave up. instead of just persevering and pushing forward. We are so conditioned to stay in a place that no longer serves us. We will stay in a place that is dangerous because it's familiar. Everyone looks like us. And I know for Black people, now my channel is for everybody. It is for everybody. But I'm Black. So I'm going to speak to Black people. But I know for Black people, we'll say, well, there's not a lot of Black people. And I'm not negating the things that have been done to us by ignorant white people or ignorant people of other races. I am not making light of that. But sometimes, oftentimes, we will let that keep us from going and finding out or seeing the possibility of greater, because we're going to be a visible minority. No matter where we live, we're a minority because white people here outnumber us, but it's not always visible. But we'll refuse to move somewhere because we're a visible minority. When I got ready to move here and I started telling people I was moving to North Dakota, people will always say, are there any Black people there? I don't know, is what my answer was, but I know who was going to be there. I don't know. Oh, you shouldn't move there. I don't. Well, I'm moving. I haven't heard of anybody having a Klan rally. I haven't heard of anybody lynching people. I haven't heard of anybody dragging people behind the truck and doing all manner of malicious things to Black people. I'm moving there. I'm moving there. I came here. Now, I do have to be honest. When I came here, there was hardly any Black people in Minot. Now, we do have a military base, but the Black people on the military base didn't come off the base quite often. Why? I don't know, but they didn't. And when me and Evans would go to Kmart or where we went in town in the store, the little white kids would stare at us. But it wasn't a mean, nasty stare. It was a stare because you could tell they never saw any Black people in real life. Now, the adults weren't nasty. They weren't mean. They were quite pleasant. One time I went to Kmart and I needed to go to Walmart, but the bus at that time stopped running at 4:30. And I was on the phone with Evans and I said, I have to go to Walmart, but I don't think I'm going to get home. I don't think I'm going to be able to go because the bus is not going to get me home on time. Somebody was walking out of the store and they said to me, I'll take you and I'll drop you home. I was like, I don't know you. Where I come from, we don't do that. And they kept saying, oh, thank you for motivating people. Thank you. That's what peace says. I really thank you. I appreciate it. I'm trying to motivate people to let you know that just because life is hard, life might be whooping your tail right now. And I know how it feels because at one point in time, it felt like life was getting the best of me, but I had to fight back. I had to do what I had to do to get out of the situation that I was in. I had to be a willing participant. Give me 1 second. Hello. 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 Mom. Sorry, that was my mom calling. If I didn't answer, she's going to keep calling. It seemed like life was beating me up. It was getting the best of me. It felt like it. It felt like it. But I had to get, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of being in a low place financially. And I was willing to do whatever it took to do my part in creating a better life for me. A lot of times we'll be like, oh, I'm praying about it. I'm praying about it. I'm praying about it. And one thing I told my friend is we as Christians, we do that a lot. I'm praying about it. I'm praying about it. God didn't answer yet. I'm praying about it. I'm praying about it. And I said to her, oftentimes before I'm going to do something new, God doesn't tell me yes or no. I hear dead silence from the Lord. He didn't say yes or no. And I learned that if God doesn't say no, if he, now this is for me. I don't know what you got going on with God in your relationship with God, but for me, I've learned that unless God has said no, don't do that, that it's okay for me to go ahead and step out and do it. It's okay. It's okay to go ahead and do it. That it's going to be all right. But a lot of times we are steady saying, oh, I'm praying about it. I'm praying about it. God didn't answer me yet. God is waiting for you to bust a move. We are not robots. We are not puppets, and He is the puppet master. He gives us free will to make decisions. But we just keep saying, we're praying about it. We're praying about it. Are we really praying about it? Are we really waiting for an answer? Or are we living in fear? Kimmy says, thank you. Moved over 4 years ago to Texas and still not homesick. Exactly. She says, I had to do something new. Exactly. Want it new, want it better. There's nothing wrong with that. But we can't get stuck on, I'm praying about it. I'm waiting for God. I'm waiting for God. God's waiting for you. If He did not say no, get the moving. Get the moving. And obstacles are going to come, but that doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. When I started my non-medical in-home care agency, I had an obstacle. I had an obstacle with uh, workman's comp. Here in the state of North Dakota, unless it has changed, you can only buy workers' compensation insurance from the state. And they were telling me you got to have unemployment insurance before you can get a workers' compensation certificate. I called unemployment insurance, I don't know how many times, and they kept saying, you don't have an employees, you're not up and running yet. We can't give you unemployment insurance. And I would call back workers' comp and tell them that, and they were giving me such a hard time. And I could not move forward with the business without having workers' compensation insurance. So finally, I had to get right with the woman and tell her, listen, I've told you multiple times that they won't give me unemployment insurance because they said I don't have any employees yet. And I can't get insurance until I have employees and I have workers' compensation. Do you need me to tell them to call you, or do you need to call them? And you've been doing this for how many years? How do you not know this? Then she released the certificate to me. And me and her were going back and forth for a long time. And if I had said, oh, you know what, let me just forget it, let me throw in the towel, not only would I not been able to change my own financial situation, 15 other families would have been affected and not able to change their situation. Yes.
I'm starving. Can I have something to eat, please?
You are not starving because you ate already. You can go get some peanut butter crackers and give me a moment, okay?
Okay, can I see what's down here?
There's nothing down there. Waffles. I'm sorry, you guys. That's my 11-year-old. I'm starving like he didn't eat today or eat recently. Helmet Chill says, moves here to Canada from the Caribbean. Life is good. And that's a big adjustment. A big adjustment. I did the same. Your AZ Rollo plug says, I did the same when I moved to love Arizona. Proud of you. Love your locks. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, well, we got to be willing to move. And um my husband moved here to the United States when he was 16 going on 17. He's 40 plus now. He moved here. Prior to before he moved here, my father-in-law came here to the States. He came here. Now, he's from Trinidad. Well, my father-in-law, he's from Grenada. But and he lived in Trinidad before he moved here to the United States. But I love my father-in-law's story because he was born and raised in Grenada. He moved to Trinidad for work, but then he moved from Trinidad to the United States, and he did it all for his family. Once he came here, he got established. He sent for his wife and his children to come over here, and they're all here and doing a whole lot better. But my father-in-law was willing to risk everything that was familiar to him to come to a foreign land. Yes, they speak English. We speak English here in the United States. Yes, they're black. There's plenty of black people here in the United States. But culturally, it's totally different. It's totally different. But he was willing to take the risk to move to a foreign place to give his wife and children a better opportunity. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for that because if my father-in-law didn't move here, I would have known my husband. He wouldn't be the father of my children, blah, blah, blah. But we got to be willing to move. I just want to encourage people. And you may be discouraged. You may be discouraged. The person who does my hair, if you attended the Move to North Dakota Summit, you heard her story about how her and her husband moved here. It's just coincidental that her husband works for the same company my husband works for. You need something?
No.
Oh, okay. Her husband works for the same company my husband works for. But now that her husband works for an oil company, and oil companies here, you're going to make a lot of money because they're going to work a lot of hours. You're going to work way more than 40 hours a week. You're guaranteed you're going to get overtime. Automatically going to get overtime because that's just, I'm on YouTube. I'm making a live video. This is not new to y'all. I know it's been a while.
I'm hungry.
Give him some peanut butter crackers, please.
There's no more.
Okay, well, you're going to have to wait. I'm going to be done in 5 minutes, okay? Go upstairs and close the door back here. Sorry about that. But she talks about how when she moved here and her husband started making money and she went back to visit, people were saying, oh, now he has that job. You guys can move back here to California. You can move back here to California. And, I don't know if she said that during the summit or when she was doing my hair. I can't remember. Anyway, she was saying, they were saying, now you guys can move back here to California because there's oil companies here. He can transfer. And she's like, why would I do that? The cost of living is way more expensive here. It's way more expensive here. Yes, he makes a lot of money, but the money he makes will be eaten up by the cost of living in California. And one of the things she did cover in the Move to North Dakota Summit is the fact that they bought a home here, which it would have been possibly impossible. She doesn't think they would have been able to buy a home in California, and she would not have her own place where she does hair. She's not doing hair out of her home. She's not in a shared booth rent situation or what have you. She would not have been able to do that if she was still in California. And she's like, why would I move back there? I can visit. Someone says, move from North Dakota to India for a better life. Stayed there a year and a half. It's not for me and my husband and our 3 pups. So we returned to California. We lost a lot financially, but we are home. Everywhere is not for everyone. Everywhere is not for anyone. and everywhere is not for everyone. What I will say is do your research before you go somewhere. India is India, that's a whole nother beast. I don't even think I could have went to India for anything. I remember years ago when I worked at American Express, they were offering people to go to India to help train people. I just knew India was not the place for me even to visit. But hey, you live and you learn. At least you can say you tried it. You tried it. If San Diego is not working out for you, it's not the place to be, try somewhere else. Maybe try somewhere else here in the United States where it is for you. Maybe if you never want to leave San Diego again and it's not San Diego is not a good place for you financially, figure out what you can do to make more money independently of your job so that you can be one of the people that live a great life although you live in San Diego. Someone says, let me show the comments. I'm from East Africa and my husband from India. There is nothing like the US for us.
Where's the syrup?
You're going to quit coming down here and
I'm sorry,
interrupting me.
but
That's what I'm going to tell you the last time. Go look for it. Close the door and don't come back till I'm done. Because you're acting like you're starving to death and I've never been on here before. Oh, she says we were blessed in India, but it's not home. So we came back to United States. Someone says crabs in a barrel, happy and snappy. I guess that's pertaining to what I was saying about them telling her to move back to California. Okay, let's see what this says. Cold temperature. They invented coats and boots. That's right, cold temperature. They invented coats and boots for that. It's cold in the winter in New York. It snows and we have wind chill. It's a beast. I was born in New York and I love it. Listen, North Dakota, I'm not going to lie and tell anybody it's not cold here. It gets cold. I would never lie and say it does not get cold here. We very rarely have a snow day. I grew up in Delaware, so we would have snow days where you didn't go to school because of the snow. That's very rarely going to happen here. There has to be a whiteout in order for there to be no school, or the kids will hardly go to school here. But what I will tell you, you're going to be able to eat on government assistance. But if you have the right mind, you're not going to stay on government assistance. You can make it and get off of government assistance and thrive here and be self sufficient if you have the right mind. So, yes, it is cold, but you'll be able to be self sufficient here and you can take a trip. You can take a trip. You can be able to take care of your children. I don't know if anybody saw the post I made about Heartland of America Medical Center is hiring. Here is one of the few places. And Heartland of America Medical Center is in Rugby. That's like 45 minutes to an hour away, depending on how fast you drive. It's an hour away from Minot. They're hiring. They built a $62 million facility. Now, $62 million, that's not a lot of money in most major cities, but here in North Dakota, that's a lot. They are hiring. They're paying $30 to $40 for radiologists, radiology technologists. I think that's the official name. They're hiring for other things that they were willing to train you. Now, some may say, oh, that's not a lot of money. Some may say that is a lot of money. You may be getting paid more than that if you live in other places. But what's the cost of living like? Can you purchase a home where you live for that amount of money? Probably not. In Rugby, North Dakota, there are homes there for under $200,000. I'm actually working on a video to showcase these homes of what you can get for that price. Are they brand new luxury? No, but they're not a dump. They're far from a dump. That even with, if you can only qualify for FHA loan, maybe you only have the 3.5% to put down. Your mortgage is going to be so low, you can afford to pay your mortgage and have money left over. Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want that? Somebody says, don't let the broke and broken people keep you from your destiny. Okay, I know that's right. I believe that's a title or similar title to a video I did. Don't let broken people keep you back. Oh, and you said that. I always remember you saying that. Exactly. There are plenty of jobs here um, in North Dakota. Plenty of jobs. Somebody says anything over $18 is a lot of money in this economy. And let me tell you, if you're a nurse or if you want to be a nurse, there's plenty of opportunity here. There's plenty of opportunities here, and you don't have to have experience. Heartland of America is offering they have partnered with Lake Regions Community College to offer nurse training. Now you do have to be a CNA, but here's the thing. Heartland of America, they are offering free training to be a CNA. So you can start there as a CNA and you can get free training. Um, they will pay for you to become a nurse. They'll pay for you to become a nurse. We also have, um, well, it's a federal program, Workforce Initiative something act, where the government will pay for you to get free training. The good thing is here, there's still funds available. There's still funds available. So if you need to get trained, you want to get trained to be a LPN, a truck driver, yada yada yada, you can get that here, and you don't have to pay the money back. If you have a high schooler, maybe they don't want to go to college. Maybe they don't want to go to college because they struggle through school. They just have a different learning style and they don't want to go to college. Here, they have programs here at the high school where they're on, you can learn a trade while you're in high school. We just had the last school year a group of students graduated with their CDL license. Class A, imagine you turn 18, you got a Class A CDL out here in North Dakota. Your child is going to make big bucks. They're going to make big bucks. So here's the good place. Here is a good place. Somebody says, not kidding, that's the 20% New York City and the surrounding counties require for a down payment, $200,000. Yeah, that's a lot of money. And probably in Rugby is probably considered, it's not no probably, Rugby is a rural area. And I'm sure it qualifies for USDA loan. The USDA loan, you don't have to put down any money. You got to pay your closing costs, but you don't have to put down a down payment. And the interest rate is lower than the normal interest rate. As a matter of fact, I'm going to look up to see what the USDA loan interest rate is. And some people may say, well, I don't know if I'm going to qualify to buy a home because if I come there, I'm starting a new job. If you're starting a new job in the same industry, you still qualify for a home because, yeah, you went to a new company, but it's in the same industry. USDA home direct home loan interest rate is 5.125%. And I don't know if that's 100% accurate because I Googled it. I didn't go to USDA website, so I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate, but that's what I'm getting according to Google. Nonetheless, even if you have to put down a down payment and you qualify for FHA, which is 3.5%, that's not a lot of money on a house that's less than $200,000. If you're married, or maybe you're not married, you have a significant other, whatever the case may be, y'all can come together and y'all can do some things. Y'all can do some things and you can get ahead. You can get ahead. Thank you guys for tuning in. I started making this, I actually made this as a video. And I don't know if you guys probably weren't on, some of you probably weren't on at the very beginning, but my computer, my laptop is full and my phone is full. So when I make a thumbnail on Canva, I don't have the ability to download it. So I got to either add more memory or clean up some things. And I haven't cleaned up any things. I probably need to go get a thumb drive to put the things on the thumb drive so I can delete them off of my computer. So even though I make videos, I can't upload it. I mean, I can, but I don't have a thumbnail to upload it with, which means it probably won't get seen. So I decided, you know what? Let me do an impromptu live. I was not sure if anybody would be on, but I thank you so much for joining me live. I thank you for commenting. I appreciate you guys. Oh, and let me mention, I didn't mention this earlier. I should have started with this. Someone gave me a super chat a while back. I did not see the super chat or the super sticker. Prodigal Gal has returned, and Jay Jones gave me a super chat and a super sticker way back some months ago. Please, please forgive me for not acknowledging those super stickers and super chat when you gave them. I did not see them. I did not see them. So please forgive me. And I don't check my YouTube analytics on a regular basis as I should. So I did not see them. I checked my analytics today and I saw it. I saw those super stickers and super chat. So please forgive me for not acknowledging you giving that when you gave it. I apologize. Charge it to the heart, charge it to the head, not to the heart. Please forgive me. Someone says, I love your videos. I'm glad I caught your live. Um, I want to come, but I did do research. North Dakota is tsunami state. North Dakota is not a tsunami state. I don't know where you heard that from or where you got that research, but that is not true. First of all, we are nowhere near a ocean. We're not near ocean. We have some lakes, but we are not a tsunami state. So I'm not sure if you're being sarcastic or if that's true that you read that, but that is definitely um absolutely 100% not true. Not true at all. Now, is North Dakota cold? Yes, indeed it is. It is cold. I will never lie to you about that. It is cold, but it is safe. It is affordable. You can not only survive here in North Dakota, you can thrive. You can more than thrive here. If you come here with the right mindset, you can live a good life here. Summer here is really good. I love the summers here in North Dakota. Now, I do have to say, for the last 3 years, Canada has had wildfires. So some days the air quality here has not been good because of the wind. Now, for some people, it does not bother them. You'll still see people out jogging, running at the park, but for me, I'm asthmatic, and me and the smoke, we we don't we don't work out. So you may have that. I don't know what it is or why Canada now has wildfires every year, but I've been here for 13 years, and prior to 3 years ago, summers were beautiful. I could be outside, I can go for walks, do whatever. Never had to use my inhaler, never had any problems. But in the last 3 years, Canada has had some wildfires, and because of the wind, it has the smoke has come this way. But other than that, summers here are nice. Summers here are beautiful. I love the summers here. Absolutely great. And listen, there's a lot of free things to do here. We have a lot of splash pads here. We have movies in the park. There's a lot of free and affordable things to do here. My kids, they wrapped up tennis about 2 weeks ago. Summer tennis, I should say. In the wintertime, tennis is in an indoor facility, of course, and they go on Saturdays. But in the summertime, it's held outside at one of the local parks, and they go twice a week from June until August. $20 a person. $20. And the man that trains them, he has trained world champions. He has played tennis all over the world. And he's still training champions. Some of the students that he's trained has gone on to state championship and etc. Where could you get where can you have your children trained by a tennis professional for $20 for 3 months? $20, not per session, but for 3 months. I don't know anywhere where that's available. Now, in the wintertime, the program that my son was doing, it was $15 a session, but still, where can you get tennis lessons for $15 a session? Nowhere. Basketball, $99 for the whole month. The gentleman who ran the basketball training, he played professional basketball. I'm not quite sure where. I think he played somewhere overseas and had a great college run before he went to play overseas or what have you. Swim lessons. Where my kids did swim lessons, they went 5 times a week and it was $82. $82. Where are you getting swimming lessons 5 times a week for $82? I don't know anywhere. That's what I'm talking about affordability. Smoke in New York also. Oh boy. So it's still affordable. It's affordable here. It's affordable here. Even if you come here and you get a job that's not the highest paying wage, you can still live good here. If you haven't seen my post, you can see where I posted some apartments that are still affordable. Now that the boom is over. The boom is over. We still have oil. Companies still pay good money, but a lot of people have left here. A lot of people still come here. But now that the boom is over, you can find an apartment for a reasonable price. Here is one of the very few places in the United States where you can find an apartment for $650, $625 a month. I just saw a post on Facebook. Someone was renting an apartment for um, $625 a month. Where can you get that at? And this is not a bad place. It's not a place where you're gonna be like, oh my God, I'm scared to be here at night. This is not that. This is not that. So again, thank you guys for joining me on this live. I really appreciate it. Thank you for showing me love. Be on the lookout for my video on the housing. I'm going to show houses in Rugby of what you can get in case anybody is interested in moving or finding more information about Rugby. I'm going to post a video of what you can get in Rugby for less than $200,000. Is there any else in America? I used to live in the Miami area, North Miami Beach to be exact. When I first moved back to Florida as an adult, we lived in Hollywood. I've lived in Georgia, and I don't know anywhere in either one of those places that you can get a home for less than $200,000, less than $200,000, or rent an apartment for less than $1,000 a month. Anyway, let me go, y'all. I want my kids to grow up talking about, oh, you was a bad mother because you were making YouTube and we told you we were hungry and you didn't give us any food, even though I know how to make a sandwich on my own, and I had already eaten. I'm being sarcastic. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Until next time, be blessed and have a prosperous future. Oh, one last thing, and then I'm going to get off of here. If you have not, uh, purchased the Move to North Dakota and you want information about what it's like to live here in North Dakota, you want firsthand account from people who have moved here and are, what in the world happened? What the heck? Sorry. From people who have moved here and they are living very well, that has changed their life for the better. Get the copy of the Move to North Dakota Summit. I put the link in the comments. Till next time, be blessed and have a prosperous future.